what we're going to go over today is how to rewire your mind how to rewire your brain to break bad habits and build wealth. And this is basically how I escaped lust, I escaped distractions, and I built my first 20K month at 17. I have multiple businesses, I have 50K on TikTok, and kind of how I created that and how you can create it too. So, here we go. My story, how I went from being stuck and distracted to becoming a high value man. So I was probably in the same situation you're in. I was giving into lust. I was addicted to these degenerate things. I was addicted to gooning, watching porn, all these things. And it really affected me. It affected my mental health, and it did a lot of things. So the first photo on the left here was from the beginning of freshman year, like 8th grade summer, and I started to go into the gym. I started self-improvement, watching Hamza, Ahmed, all these like self-improvement guru creators, and that's kind of how I started. Going to the gym, locking on my diet, locking on these things. And one story from that photo, I remember freshman year, like I was so committed to the gym to the point where I remember I used to bring to lunch, like I wouldn't season my food for some reason, so I used to bring to lunch like chicken, salmon, just like barely cooked, unseasoned. It would smell horrible, but I was committed. And that's what you got to be. You got to be committed. You got to be locked in. And now I'm a senior in high school, if anyone didn't know that. And these are kind of my numbers, 20K a month, pretty good physique, grinding. I'm going to Miami in 2 weeks to meet up with some other influencers. So, life's going uphill. And here's how I did that. Firstly, what you're going to learn today. You're going to learn why lust and distractions are silently destroying your discipline, your focus, and drive. You're going to learn the neuroscience of rewiring your brain for unstoppable discipline. Then I'm going to go over how I went from being stuck in lust, being chained down to lust, to then hitting my first 20K a month at 17. And then we're going to go over the proven blueprint to build focus, build confidence, and building income at the same time. And I'm going to also talk about the exact steps you can take to start rewiring your brain, start building the wealth, start building the things you want in life. And yeah, we got a little giveaway announcement. I'm going to be doing a $100 cash giveaway at the end of the live for the people who stick around for the entire 30 minutes. What you need to do to enter, you need to take down notes. I want you guys to have a nugget. Like, if you have a notebook, anything like this, what you're going to do is take down notes. You're going to send a photo of the notes to the general chat, okay? And out of all the people who send their photos of the notes at the end of this, I'm going to do a wheel. I'll screen record it, post it. And one of you guys, somewhere here, 23 people, it's pretty good odds. One of you are going to win $100, Cash App, Venmo, anything. However you want me to pay you, I'll pay you. Gift card, whatever. So, yeah, just have a notebook, have a pencil, take down some notes. Am I in the way that much? Someone said that. Am I in the way? If I'm really in the way, someone type in general. If it's fine, it's all good. But, yeah, $100 cash giveaway. Take your notes, post it in general at the end of this. I'll enter you in the wheel. I'll screen record it, show you guys who won. So, type 1 in the general chat if you're ready to change your life. Type some ones, boys. Type some ones. Ones, yes sir, ones. Alright, bet. So, the reason why most men stay stuck. The first reason is you might be in a situation, you're trapped in lust and you're trapped in porn, whether it's gooning, whether it's watching porn, you're in that state. And when you're in that state of where you almost feel chained down by something, it's destroying your energy, it's making you undisciplined, it's causing you to have no progress. The reason why this stuff is so bad for you is because when you are watching porn, it's like a secretive thing. You have to hide while you do it. You have to hide in the bathroom in your room. And you feel guilty from it because it's something that you're not going to be proud of. So you're living in a constant state of guilt. And the study found the worst human emotion that somebody can feel is guilt. So when you're constantly in that state where you feel guilty, you feel embarrassed of what you're doing, you're going to feel miserable. You're going to start to grow like this almost hate for yourself, and that's going to really destroy your life, and it's really going to affect you. So, trapped in lust and porn, what's going to happen? You're going to have no energy, you're going to have no discipline, and you're not going to see progress in your life. Another thing a lot of you probably have is you're addicted to distractions. I used to be in that same cycle. I used to be basically a pro Fortnite player, all of that. I used to scroll a lot. I used to game. I used to give into that junk dopamine. And when you're in that cycle where you kind of like go 50-50, okay? Maybe some days you're locked in, but other days you're giving into video games, you're giving into scrolling, you're giving into fapping, you're not giving your energy to what you as a man need to be giving your energy towards. That is going to really damage you. It's really going to hurt you. So you need to prevent yourself from these distractions. Then, hold on. We have relying on willpower. So, okay, one thing with lust that a lot of you guys probably don't get is it's biologically imprinted into you. It's like lust itself is not a horrible harm, but we live in a society where it's being pushed upon us. It's being push towards us to where it's starting to hijack our brain and take over. Because if you're in a relationship or like a marriage, okay, giving into lust is not going to be a horrible thing. But the problem is in our society, when you're sitting there on your phone, you're just looking at girls lusting, like that is really damaging. And that's like the main problem. So you need to stop relying on willpower. Because when you sit there and you're relying on your own self, okay, and you're relying on your own self to do something, you're going to end up failing. You're going to end up relapsing. You're going to end up restarting, because you're probably stuck in this cycle, right? Your mind, this is how I think like the whole cycle of giving into gooning, giving into lust happens. I think there's a trigger, and I think that trigger can be a week before, it can be a day before, but you have some sort of thought into your mind. Maybe you're scrolling on TikTok and you see like a girl dancing, and that thought, you scroll past it, you think it doesn't affect you, but that thought will linger into your mind. The second it lingers into your mind and you even just think about it, then you go move to the next part. You move into the trigger. You move into the cue. You start getting a little urge, okay? And maybe this happened at 10 a.m. in the morning, but your mind gets that glimpse back of that thought at 8 p.m. And boom, eventually you goon, whatever, lust, all that. And then a lot of you guys probably have no system or accountability. When you don't have a system, you're not going to be able to get anything done, because you have to systemize this stuff. The way your brain works, the reason why you're so trapped in lust, you're so trapped in porn, is because it is addictive and it's being pushed upon you. It's basically like people are feeding you like nicotine, all right? Nicotine is an addictive drug. People are feeding you nicotine. That's the same, but it's like at a whole nother level with pornography, with lust in our society. When you scroll on TikTok, right? You could search up like a normal thing. You could search up like anything, right? And you're probably going to end up finding a girl dancing. It's because the people that own this industry are making so much money off of it. They're profiting a whole bunch off of it, and they're feeding it into you, purposely trying to get you addicted. So you need a system to avoid this. And the system you need to create is you need to do things. Okay, I mentioned this a lot. You need to delete social media for periods of time. I'm going to go more in depth on this because of my TikToks. Maybe I don't. But you need to delete it for periods of time. I don't know. I think it was around sophomore year, maybe freshman year, I deleted TikTok for a year. And during that year, I felt the best. I got the most done, and my mind was most at peace. And the problem is, when you're scrolling on TikTok on a day-to-day basis, your brain is getting so much overstimulation, because the way your brain works, you have to process each and every video you're looking at. So your brain's constantly processing the environment, right? You look around, your brain's processing this and this. When you have a device in front of you, like this, right? Your brain, you scroll, it's processing a whole nother environment. Again, whole nother environment. So even after a few scrolls, your brain's getting flooded, and you're probably doing it for hours at a time. And that is extremely damaging, and it's causing you to be overstimulated. Then you need accountability. A lot of you guys don't have anyone holding you accountable, and the reason why porn is so addictive is because no one's watching over you. So you can do it and only you know about it, and that's also going to kill you and make you depressed and give you all these like negative side effects, because you're doing something that you know is wrong, so you have the guilt and you're not going to tell anybody. So you have to have someone that's holding you accountable. Of course, there's all these like quit porn apps, right? Most of them are BS. Let me be fair. Most of those quit porn apps are BS. I don't believe in counting the streak. I don't believe in some of those things, but maybe they'll help you, okay? Maybe having that app as an accountability source will help you. That could definitely help you, but maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's other people in this Discord. You want to have people that are holding you accountable. Because when you don't have anyone holding you accountable, you don't have a system, you're going to be stuck in that relapse cycle for years on end. You're going to be stuck in that cycle, and that will be so damaging, bro, because when you're stuck in that cycle, you're going to be so miserable, and the longer you stay in that cycle, the more your brain gets trained to crave those big dopamine hits. You're going to be craving it more and more, and eventually you're going to end up being 60 years old. You're going to be addicted to porn. You're probably going to be a pedophile, and you're going to be sitting on there looking at Twitter gooning, 60 years old with like a family because you hate your life. So you have to get out of this cycle ASAP. Then, when you stay stuck in this cycle, your confidence slips away, you start making less money, and your purpose slowly slips away. And as a man, the number one thing we have is our purpose. So when we let our purpose slip away, it's going to be super dangerous. It's going to be miserable. You're going to start hating your life the second you let that purpose slip away. So make sure you don't get caught in that cycle. Right here, why most men stay stuck. Take note. Now, the price of inaction. When you are stuck in something and you don't take action on your life, well, you know what happens? You waste months, you waste hours, then it becomes days, then it becomes weeks, then it becomes months, years, nothing changes, and eventually you hate your life. And one thing we have, the most precious thing we have on humans is our time. And it's the most beautiful thing for people on self-improvement, because when you're constantly improving your life, you're going on this uphill pattern. And when you are giving into good habits, you're feeding yourself with good things that help you grow, your whole life is a positive thing. But a lot of people, their life goes downhill. And the reason for that is because they start giving into these things. They start giving into these things which hurt them. And there's two in life, you're either growing or you're dying. Okay, basically, there's no like maintaining. So if you don't see in your life that you're going uphill, that you're aiming towards a goal, you're probably going downhill, and eventually it's going to catch up to you. And you're like 40 years old, like, fuck, what do I do with my life? Then your confidence begins to fade. One thing with especially lust and porn is it destroys your confidence, because when you have something that's that easy to access, it's going to restrict you from wanting to go out and make human connection, want to go out and meet women. So you have to stop, because it will destroy your confidence, because it gives you that quick hit. Why would you go out and start and make a relationship with a girl, which takes time, which takes effort, when you can just go on your phone and get that same quick hit of pleasure? I mean, it's just like a quick way out. It's instant gratification. But we know, you probably know this too, delayed gratification is better 99% of the time. Then the more you do it, the more insecure you get, because you know you're doing something that's bad for you. So your brain starts to not trust itself, and you become more insecure. You have more self-hatred. You start to hate yourself. Then, of course, your bank account will stay empty. You're going to stay broke. You're not going to see progress, because you're stuck in that instant gratification. And instant gratification is the reason why you aren't doing things to help you grow. When you're stuck in instant gratification, I mean, it's horrible, because as a man, you need to train your brain to have discipline. You need to train your brain to do these hard things. You need to train your brain to want to grow, to want to become better. But when you are stuck in that cycle of lust, of porn, of video games, you are training your brain to understand, okay, if I just do that, I'll get a quick dopamine, I'll get a quick feeling, like a good feeling, but you're not going to have any long-term growth. Then, I promise you, I mean, it is serious. You will look back in a year, 5 years, 20 years, 50 years, and that guilt you feel will take over, and you will begin to have so much self-hatred, which a lot of men, they end up doing horrible things, killing themselves because of these issues, because they don't take action, and they fall down that rabbit hole of self-hatred. So you have to quit it now. You have to start rebuilding your life. You have to become a new version of yourself. Now, here's how I rewired my brain. So, here's exactly how I did it. Firstly, I realized willpower alone will not save me. As you need to have habits. The way your brain works is you have neurons, you have neural pathways, and your brain mostly acts on habitual things. A lot of you guys follow me for lust, all of this. You probably notice when you give into lust, there's a certain pattern behind it. It might be at a certain part of the day. It might be in a certain area, environment. It might be in your bathroom, your bedroom. You have these certain things because your brain, it's a habit. You don't actually want to give into lust. You're just going down this cycle day after day because your brain has been trained to do it. So you have to understand, willpower alone will not save you. You need to make it a habitual lot. You need to habitualize your brain and make it a habit to not goon and to do certain things. And the way you're going to do that, so the way you're going to make it a habit, the way you're going to build new habits, you're going to use something called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the way to change your brain's neural pathways so you can start doing different habits. It is the cheat code to success. It's the reason why I was able to build the success. It's the reason why I was able to build my life. And what you need to do is, let's say every time you get, I say this a lot, every time you get the urge to goon, every time you get the urge to play video games, every time you get the urge to do, can I repeat that? Which part? Neuroplasticity? Okay, I'll repeat that for you, bro. What neuroplasticity is, it is the brain's ability to change the neural pathways, and what that does is it will help you build new habits. It trains your brain to think differently. It trains your brain to act differently, because your brain's constantly changing, for better, for worse. So when you understand what neuroplasticity is, you can use it to your advantage. And it is how can you move your cam bottom? Yeah, it might be blocking off a little bit of this. I'm not going to change it though, but I'm reading it. So, but you can use that, hijack your brain to quit bad habits, to become the best version of yourself. Every time you get the urge to do something bad, every time you have the urge to do all those bad habits like I mentioned, the second you get that urge, you're going to do something else. Whether it's you get the urge to fap, you're going to do something like, I say 20 push-ups, but that's a super beginner example. You're going to do something like work on a business. If you're creating a business, if you want to go on the entrepreneurship path, you're going to work on your business. Or if you're not, you can read, you can study. Like if you're in school, you can do this. And even if you do the bad habit after, let's say you have the urge to fap, then you read, and then you fap, you're still training your brain to when you have the urge to associate it with reading. And eventually you're going to find it super easy to cut out the bad part. So you have to use this neuroplasticity to your advantage. So every time you get a bad habit, do a good habit, even if you do the bad habit after, and you'll slowly train your brain to do good habits, because that's what I used to change my life. That's how I was able to, make 20K a month. That's how I was able to get 50K on TikTok. How I defeated lust, how I built a good physique was by using my brain's neuroplasticity. Then you need to learn the science behind lust and dopamine. Lust and dopamine. So when you give into lust, when you fab, your brain gets a huge dopamine spike, right? I say this a lot. So and over time, these huge dopamine spikes will cause your brain to get attached. Your brain craves that good feeling you get from dopamine. And when you're giving into these quick dopamine hits, your brain doesn't crave the dopamine hits you get from long-term goals. Like, let's say you make a 10K month. You're going to get a huge dopamine spike the second you hit that. But if you're addicted to porn, you're not going to feel that good. You're going to be like, oh, well, just 30 minutes ago, I just gooned and got a bigger spike. So you need to understand these short-term, quick dopamine spikes are causing you to be a loser. They're causing you to give in to instant gratification. So understand that, use it to your advantage. One thing I would do is go on a dopamine detox. When you cut out dopamine for a long period of time and you detox your brain from it, you will find it extremely easy to be able to quit. You will find it extremely easy. So you have to just cut out these external dopamine sources, whether it's social media, whether it's listening to music constantly, because be honest, someone in the chat answer this. When you go to bed, do you have something playing? Is it music? Is it some sort of video? Are you falling to sleep scrolling? Say it in the chat, boys. Would you have something, be honest, do you have something stimulating you when you're going to bed? Because the odds are basically all you do, right? Was it limiting your screen time? You had better sleep, less urges? Yeah, screen time's a big, only an hour before, that's pretty good, but yeah. You probably have something playing. And that's causing you to be super overstimulated because at that time where you're supposed to rest, you have stuff clogging your brain that's preventing you from resting. Then, I replaced lust with deep work. Every time I wanted to lust, every time I wanted to give in to that lower self of me, I replaced it with something like deep work. I replaced it with something like gym, prayer, and my purpose. And what that did over time is it changed the way my brain thought. And every time I had the urge to give into lust, my brain knew, okay, I'm going to do something productive. Slowly, my brain creates progress instead of destruction, because a lot of you are probably stuck in that self-destruction cycle where you give in, and you do one thing that's bad, right? Maybe you have a milkshake, all right? I mean, this has happened to me. You have a milkshake, and then you start doing another bad thing, and you give into that cycle of self-destruction, which takes back maybe weeks of progress. So the result of this, when I rewired my brain, was I built more discipline. I found it easy to go to the gym. I found it easy to build a business. I found it more fulfilling. I had these like serotonin hits where I felt just happy. I felt genuinely purposeful doing it. I had way better focus. I worked for hours a day, and I don't even feel it. I love it. I get in this flow state. I had my first 10K month at 17. Now I'm first 20K month. If you guys do wonder how I make this money, I do e-commerce reselling. So like the screenshots, they're from eBay. That's like one of my main sources of business. I have that. I have a clothing brand. I'm making an AI app right now. So those are kind of my main sources. Yeah, these are real results. I mean, with the stuff I'm teaching you guys changes lives. I just had to find this real quick because I put this together like 5 minutes before this slide. But this advice will change lives. This advice saves men. It saves men's lives. Then the neuroscience of discipline. So your brain on lust and distraction is you're getting that huge dopamine hit. When you're giving into lust, you're giving distraction, you're getting those huge dopamine hits. Those huge dopamine hits, you know what they do. They rewire your brain to crave comfort over progress. But you use your neuroplasticity, like I mentioned before, to change your brain. And you can rewire your brain in 30 to 90 days when you cut out fake dopamine. So I'm going to give you guys like a step-by-step thing of what to do, how to take action from this. Firstly, after this, you're going to go on a dopamine detox. You're going to start cutting out social media. You're going to monitor your screen time. You're going to stop listening to music constantly because music is an extremely powerful thing. If you use it correctly, it will help you, but you don't want to abuse it to where you're frying your brain. So cut out social media. Stop listening to music constantly. Then you're going to start replacing these bad habits with good habits. You have the urge to do a bad habit. You know what your bad habits are. You're going to instantly do a good habit. And you know what good habits are. It's a simple thing. Bad habit, you feel like doing a bad habit, you do a good habit, even if you do the bad habit after. Then your brain's going to slowly begin to change. You're not going to notice it overnight, but over 30 to 90 days, you're going to start feeling, wait, hold on, I feel a little different. I feel a little bit more locked in. I feel like I can accomplish more. Then the habit loop. This habit loop is so key to why most of you guys are stuck in this gooning cycle and why you hate your lives. So the habit loop, you have a cue, meaning a trigger, basically. So you're scrolling on TikTok, maybe you're listening to music and a certain lyrics hitting your subconscious mind, which gets you the thought of woman, whatever it is that makes you want to lust. Then you have the craving. Your mind gets a craving. You get this energy, and this is kind of like more niche, but you have energy in your body, and when you give into lust, your energy is going down to like your genital area, and it's causing you to think less, causing you to be more unfocused, causing you to be worse. So you're getting all that craving, it's getting your energy down there, and then you get that response, and boom, you give in, you start doing it, then you get that quick reward, that 2-second hit. The second after, I don't know if you notice this, the second after you give in, that guilt swarms you because you know it's wrong, and eventually you start thinking with your mind, like, what did I just do? I hate myself. I feel guilty. Then replace the lust with the productive stuff, and the progress becomes automatic. That's basic. And when you start stacking small wins, those small wins start compounding into unstoppable momentum. You start stacking. Maybe you wake up at 5 a.m. You say you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. You wake up at 5 a.m. You don't hit snooze. The second you hit snooze, your day's ruined, and your brain's not going to be able to trust itself. You're not going to be able to get anything done. So you wake up, you say you're going to wake up at 5 a.m., you wake up at 5 a.m., you make your bed. These small things, boom, 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 they start adding up. You start gaining momentum throughout your day, become more productive, you feel better. Then discipline isn't motivation, okay? We all know this. Discipline is not motivation. It's your brain. It's rewiring your brain to crave progress. A lot of people say it's doing what you don't want to do, but that's somewhat true. But your brain, the prefrontal cortex is responsible for how much discipline you have. So when you are able to hijack your brain, basically, and you're able to make it more disciplined, that's what you're able to do. You're able to make your brain more disciplined by just using that neuroplasticity, by hijacking your brain. And that's how you're going to rewire your brain to crave progress. Now, we got 2 slides left, but who you must become. You are not trying to quit lust, okay? Don't get that mindset. Don't think of it yourself like that. Don't make that your self-identity. Like, oh, I'm trying to quit lust. I'm addicted to lust. I can't stop giving to lust. You're not trying to do that. What you're trying to do is you're trying to rewire your brain to crave discipline. That's all you're trying to do is rewire your brain to crave discipline. You're not a slave to lust. You're not addicted to lust. You're not who you think you are, okay? You're just a man who's trying to rewire his brain to crave discipline because your self-identity is so key in this. If you have a self-identity and you view yourself as a loser and you view yourself as, oh, I'm a slave to lust, oh, I'm a loser, oh, this is hard, that's going to become hard. It's all this reality is your reality. You shape your reality. If you think you can do something, you can do it. We were all born into this world. There's no rules set. You have rules that are set from you from society, and that's what's causing you to have these limiting beliefs. So cut out the limiting beliefs. Then understand you're becoming the man who controls his mind. It's not the other way around. You're not letting your mind control you. You're trying to control your mind. You're not a slave to your urges. You need to become a man who's in control. Because if you want to become successful, you have to learn how to become in control of your mind. You need to become the man that chooses focus over distraction, the man that chooses purpose over pleasure. Because when you stay a slave to these things, when you stay a slave to your urges, when you stay a slave to your pleasure, most people probably can't even sit through this because their dopamine is so hijacked. When you're that guy, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to fall down that loop of self-hatred, and you're going to end up being like the 99% of kids on TikTok who are brain rot, who are like, oh, gooning, like all of that. So you need to become the man who builds, as a man, it's your duty. You need to become the man who builds wealth, the man who builds confidence, the man who impacts the world through his discipline, okay? And you have to understand, you probably see these people. Like, you guys probably even see me. Some of you look up to me, whatever, okay? You probably see David Goggins, way much bigger examples. David Goggins, all these people. You look up to them. They are no different than you. They are no different than you. All they did is took the risk. All they did is rewire their brain. All they did is took action. The problem is with most of you, none of you take action. You have to just take action. Take that first step. That first step becomes another step, and you start moving. But it's all up to you taking the first step. And the man God can trust is the man who has aligned himself with his purpose, the man who chooses God's greatness over lust, the man who understands the man I want to be is far greater than being like a lustful, giving into lust, giving into the degeneracy of the world. Now we're going to do a Q&A. Everybody in the webinar questions, type your best questions. I'm going to start answering some questions. I'll type in there so you guys can see it. I sent a few cues. Webinar questions. Everyone type their questions in there. I'm going to answer some of the best questions. You guys see it? Webinar questions? Yeah, Specs is typing in there. In the webinar questions, start typing your questions. But I'm going to go over a few, let me see if there's any good ones I like. What was your journey? Type some good questions in there. I'm looking for some good ones. I don't give many opportunities for you guys to ask me questions, so I would take advantage of this. What's the most important? Can I stop viewing girls? All right, well, you answer this one quick. How can you stop? You guys keep typing your questions. I'm going to start looking through this, but I'll answer this one right now. How can you stop viewing girls as objects? A lot of you have started to view girls as objects through your subconscious mind. You don't even realize you're doing it. But every time you scroll on TikTok, you're objectifying people. That's the truth. You're viewing these people as objects because you don't see them as who they are. You don't have a real connection with them. So it's causing you to view these girls as objects, and especially when you're beating your meat to these girls, okay? It is causing you to view them as just objects, as worthless, as these things that are there for your desire, for you to feed off of. So you need to stop. You need to replace that lust with love. Because what is lust? Lust is a lack of love in the heart. So once you start to replace it, once you start to view people as who they are, for being these like human beings, souls, women of God, you're going to find it extremely easy to stop objectifying women. Let me look at some more. How to start making money online? I'll probably do another thing on that because that's a longer topic. But I will. Type of apps. What type of apps am I making for income? So right now I'm making like a quitting porn app. I'm hopefully gonna launch it in the next few days. But I spent like a few months on making that. How did you start? Do you ever feel like you were close to achieving a goal? And if you did, what did you mentally? All right, I'll answer that one. I got your text, Grant, out. But did you ever feel like you were close to achieving something? And if you did, what did you do mentally or physically to finally achieve it? So life changes quick, all right? I'm going to be for real. When I started posting on TikTok, when I started this reselling business, when I started a clothing brand, now I'm making an app. When I started doing these businesses, trying to achieve things, I'll give an example for TikTok. A lot of you guys probably follow me on TikTok. The first year of posting, I posted daily. The first year, this was from August of last year to July of this year, right? I gained 1,000 followers. It took me 1 year to hit 1,000 followers. Now, it's been 2 months later since July. I'm at 50,000. My goal is to get to 100,000 followers by the end of October. You need to understand life changes quickly. It changes very quickly. You will see more progress in a month than maybe you've seen the past year. It's just about boom. Like you have to stay committed to something. It's going to change. So you have to be super committed. You have to be purposeful about what you're doing. If you're doing something and you're not purposeful about it, you're going to end up quitting. So you need to do something you truly are purposeful. Like I'm purposeful about my TikToks. I'm purposeful about my businesses. I'm doing things because I want to help society. You have to be purposeful about these things. Then you were such an inspiration for me. 10K on the 17 is crazy. I turned 17 recently. Bro, just keep grinding. Just take that first step and you will make it. I'm trying to figure out how to get that in there, Grantel. More questions. Is daydreaming bad? Daydreaming is not bad. Daydreaming is not bad at all. When you are daydreaming, it's almost a sign that you're meant for more, okay? Like people, and maybe in school you were taught, like, oh, it's bad. Daydreaming is visualization. If you're daydreaming about like you achieving your dream life, that's so amazing. That's so ideal because when you dream about these things, it helps you grow. I do this every day. One thing I do every morning is I'll close my eyes and I'll imagine my dream life. One thing I noticed that was weird is with this TikTok stuff, in the morning I would close my eyes, I would imagine me like getting big on TikTok. I would imagine these things, and it started to happen quicker. So use visualization; it'll help change your life. Let's get some more of these. What's the first thing you do in the morning? What's a bunch of good habits? So yeah, a lot of you guys are asking me how to make money, how to do these things, how to do these things. One thing I'm going to do in this, just for you guys, I'm going to put in the announcement, you can book a free call. So I'm going to let everyone book a free call with me. It's through Calendly, just because you guys are in there. And if you're serious about this, you can book a call, go through the call. It'll be in the announcements, but that's one thing I'm going to do just for you guys in here. Then, I'm going to do 3 more questions. What are a bunch of good habits you started implementing daily that changed things for you? That's a great question. So I've been on self-improvement for 4 years. One of these habits, I'm going to think about that. What is one of the main habits that helped me change my life? It's a good question. That's a good question. I think the first one was honestly going to the gym. I have a memory. I remember this was 8th grade. I used to bike around, and I wanted to start going to the gym. I knew I should, and I remember one day I was biking past the gym, and I was looking. I was like, wait, what's stopping me from going in there right now and just starting? I remember it was such a vivid thought. It's weird. I remember it so clearly. I was biking past the gym, and I thought to myself, I was like, wait, what's stopping me from just walking in there and going to the gym right now? And eventually I went to the gym, and that sparked something. That sparked a 4-year journey of now. First it was the gym, then it was making money, then it was self-improvement. It's all these things. It just sparks it. And it's like a ball on the ramp. It gets faster and faster because of momentum. You just have to start. But yeah, there's the link if you guys do want to book a call. Is it possible to get to 10K a month if you're not in the US? Yeah, see, that question right there, is it possible to get to $10,000 a month if you're not in the US, is a limiting belief. Of course it is. Everyone does it. Like for me, I think 10K a month isn't cool because I think everyone does it. Okay, it's all about what you believe. I think my goal for the end of the year is through my app, I'm gonna probably stop reselling through my app. Okay, through the app I'm developing, I want to get it to a $300,000 MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue. These limiting beliefs are going to stop you with what you can achieve. So you need to just understand what you think you can achieve is what you can achieve. All right, one more question. Everyone ask their questions. I'm going to answer the best question. But yeah, if you want help with hitting 10K a month, book the call. Most of it's for rewiring your brain, desexualize your mind, becoming the best version of yourself. But yeah, Grant Hill sent that. But everyone, I'm going to answer like one more question. WR. And make sure everyone has their notes as well. Is it possible, because my country 10K a month believes you can retire after 1 year of work? What country are you in, bro? Come on, boys. This is the one time I'd be answering questions. I want some good questions in here. Kazakhstan? I don't know where that is, but yeah, I can imagine. But yeah, I'll say it one more time. If you guys want help with rewiring your brain, with becoming the best version of yourself, my journey, becoming fit, making money online, desexualizing my mind, book the free call that Grant Tell sent. Because some of you guys are going to take that opportunity. Your lives are going to change. Okay, and bet you asking a question? All right. Okay, we'll answer this question because a lot of people ask me this. Is it okay to do things with your partner even though I'm trying to quit gooning alone? So, I would say yes. People have different views on this because, like, really, I'm a man of God. I understand it. But if you are with a girl who you're planning on marrying, okay, you think you're going to marry this girl, I think it's doing things with your partner is much better than gooning, right? It's much better than gooning or doing hookups. So, yes, doing things with your partner I think is okay with limitation, with doing it in the right way. Can you live off being an influencer? I don't know. I'm not like an influencer, but I don't know. All right, K and Bets, I don't see your question. If you want to ask a question, ask it. But yeah, boys. I mean, I feel like you can look at me and be like, damn, I'm no different than you, bro. Okay, and like it's so weird how quickly your life can change because I was stuck in that loop where I wanted to become something. 2 months, my life starts to change. So it's up to you to taking that action, taking that first step. Thanks for your time. Yes, bro. I appreciate you all. But yeah, if you guys want to change your life, if you guys want to get that opportunity to rewire your mind, to my journey, make 20K a month, I'm creating an AI app business. I've created a clothing brand. I've created 20K a month off of reselling. I have 50K on TikTok. Click that link Grant Tell sent and book a free call. But yeah, boys, it's been good talking to you all. God bless you all. It was fun. It was very fun.